Imagine if today was the day your idea changed someone's life. Imagine if you could help someone pay for college, help your community build a new playground, or help a child make it to that dream competition. With GoFundMe, it's all possible. GoFundMe is the world's #1 fundraising platform trusted by over 190 million people. Every week, ordinary people meet their goals and do extraordinary things. Your ideas matter. GoFundMe isn't just for emergencies. Want to raise money for your kid's soccer team or raise funds for a small business, a creative project, or event? GoFundMe helps you turn ideas into reality. And help adds up. Fundraisers you start for someone else raise up to 5 times more. So think right now, who could use your help? Change rarely comes from waiting. It comes from someone deciding, today I'll start. Don't wait for someone else to bring change. Today, start your fundraiser in just minutes at GoFundMe.com. That's GoFundMe.com to start your fundraiser. GoFundMe.com. This is a commercial message brought to you by GoFundMe.
Inside jokes. Late Night reacts to the loss of one of its own. This is Now You Know. I'm Rob Snow.
Navigating the issues that matter to you. It's Now You Know with Rob Snow on News Radio.
U.S. President Donald Trump doesn't mind kicking Jimmy Kimmel when he's down.
Well, Jimmy Kimmel was fired because he had bad ratings more than anything else, and he said a horrible thing about a great gentleman known as Charlie Kirk. And Jimmy Kimmel is not a talented person. He had very bad ratings, and they should have fired him a long time ago. So, you can call that free speech or not. He was fired for lack of talent.
That was the U.S. president speaking during the closing news conference that wrapped up his visit to the U.K. about Jimmy Kimmel's show being pulled off the air by ABC after the comedian made some remarks about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Later, while on Air Force One, Trump said all the late-night hosts should be let go because all they do is attack him.
Who would you like to see replace Kimmel on late night?
Well, a lot of people, anybody could replace him. The guy had no talent. Kimmel he was fired, he had no talent. He's a whack job, but he had no talent, and more importantly than talent, he had no, because a lot of people have no talent, they get ratings. But he had no ratings. His ratings were worse than Colbert, I think. They got rid of Colbert, which was a good thing to do. And look, that's something that should be talked about for licensing, too. When you have a network and you have evening shows and all they do is hit Trump, that's all they do. If you go back, I guess they haven't had a conservative on in years or something, somebody said. But when you go back and take a look, all they do is hit Trump. They're licensed. They're not allowed to do that. They're an arm of the Democrat Party.
As for last night and late night, it was the first time all the late night hosts had a chance to say anything about the Kimmel situation. Jon Stewart doesn't usually do the Daily Show on Thursdays, but he was there last night with what the show called the government-approved Daily Show.
From Comedy Central, it's the all-new government-approved Daily Show. With your patriotically obedient host, Jon Stewart.
My name is Jon Stewart, and welcome to the Daily Show on, I'm going to guess, Monday. I don't know. We have another fun, hilarious, administration-compliant show. Doing? Shut up. Blow this for us.
The Daily Show set looked sort of like the Oval Office does these days. Gold adorned, and Stewart played as though he was some sort of North Korean state-approved comedian.
Coming to you tonight from a real The crime-ridden cesspool that is New York City. It is a tremendous disaster like no one's ever seen before. Someone's National Guard should invade this place, am I right? Shut the f*** up! If you felt a little off these past couple of days, it's probably because our great father has not been home. For father has been gracing England with his legendary warmth and radiance.
A couple of days ago, Donald Trump suggested NBC fire Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers next. On the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, Fallon expressed solidarity with Jimmy Kimmel. And then he also reviewed Donald Trump's trip to the UK.
You can have your rights just as long as you don't use them. Of course, the Sally sticklers out there may want to hear you talk on your talk show. But, ladies and gentlemen, here's the thing. You can talk and still say nothing. The thing is, all you have to do is repeat whatever the approved message from the White House is today. But remember, my friends, just remember, anyone can be silent in the face of an autocrat. You have a responsibility to do more than just censor yourself. You need to turn in your friends. Write down what they say. Get them fired. Then a true patriot can take their job saying nothing on TV.
That is, of course, Stephen Colbert. Stephen Colbert is in its final season. It's essentially been canceled as well, something Donald Trump also celebrated. That was Stephen Colbert bringing back conservative Colbert, the persona he created on the Colbert Report. One of the largest owners of ABC-affiliated TV stations, Sinclair Broadcasting, says before Jimmy Kimmel can ever have his show back, he needs to do a few things. He needs to apologize to the Kirk family and make a donation to the Kirk family and to Kirk's organization, Turning Point USA. I'm Rob Snow. This is Now You Know. This is News Radio.
Now You Know with Rob Snow continues on News Radio.
He's our expert in communications, crisis communications, political communications, branding, and leadership. Barry McLoughlin is the president of TLC, Transformational Leadership Consultants, and he lectures at the Telfer School of Management at the University of Ottawa and at the MBA program at the Shannon School of Business at Cape Breton University. You can read Barry on his Substack, and you can listen to his podcast. How are you today?
Great, Rob. How are you?
Good. And there was a time in your life, I understand, when you did stand-up comedy. Is that right?
Yeah. Actually, I began my career in stand-up comedy and in satirical comedy on television. I created with Ken Shaw, whom you may be familiar with across country. He and I created a show called It's the News that ran on Global for 78 episodes over 2 years. And it was all satirical news, pretending to be a newscast. It was all a lot of politicized satire. So this is right up my alley, talking about Jimmy Kimmel and all that stuff.
Because you're really news before fake news was cool, I guess, Barry.
Exactly. That's true. Okay. Yeah. So, really Royal Canadian Air Force, all that stuff. So really, this is an area that I have a long time interest in, and what happens when this kind of thing explodes. Okay.
So what's your reaction to ABC's decision to pull Jimmy Kimmel off the air?
Appalling cowardice, destroying, really undermining the brand of ABC. It does show you the vulnerability today of the corporatization of broadcasters. They're all taken over. Disney actually owns ABC, as you know. And then even within that, though, people are realizing, wait a second, ABC doesn't own most of its outlets. They're owned by corporations like the Sinclair Group and others. And so really, once they decide to pull a plug on you, you've got a problem. You can't get enough viewers of your shows. So they're kind of holding ABC hostage here, and ABC caved.
Okay, I'm a little bit surprised that you take that position, because surely these broadcasters, whether it's Disney as the big mother core or whether it's the companies that own dozens of the ABC affiliates, They have viewers to answer to. Apparently, lots of backlash to the Kimmel comments. They have advertisers who may not be happy with what Jimmy Kimmel had to say. What about that side of it?
First of all, Jimmy Kimmel was very careful what he said. He did not in any way mock Charlie Kirk. He immediately, sent his condolences to his widow and family. He handled the Charlie Kirk side of this very, very professionally. He really was criticizing the political response to it. The immediate accusation of lefty radicals and everything else. And he had early information that, this alleged killer came from a MAGA family. It turned out to really not be quite accurate. So that's really what they're holding him on, that he said something about that guy. So really, but they're great to distort information, to make it sound like he was criticizing and mocking Charlie Kirk. He certainly was not. So that's just falsehood from beginning to end. It is true that there's a sensitivity when somebody dies. And here's the expression in comedy. You tell a joke, if you told a joke about Robert Redford right now, that maybe showed another side of Robert Redford, there would be a ooh in the audience. And the comedian will often say, too soon? Yeah, it was too soon. Yeah. And this is, he took a risk by bringing up the subject, but all of them have brought up the subject. It is the subject of the day. It is a very major event. And you're walking on very sensitive grounds. There's no question about it. But when you look carefully at it, I think in substance what he said was not worthy of suspending him. That was ridiculous. But nevertheless, we know that he has been the crosshairs. All the late-night talk show hosts, they've got Stephen Colbert out of there. They're going to get him out of there. And all the rest are lined up. He predicted the president that he wanted to get Jimmy Kimmel out of there. He's sensitive because they've all been mocking him for years. It is true. He is such a comedy target, Saturday Night Live, everything else. And so, when you say and do ludicrous things, as the president, sorry for my own opinion here, but things that are just they are laughable, then, you're going to fall into the crosshairs of comedians. And it was an Ottawa native, E. Graydon Carter, who was publisher of what was known as Spy magazine at the time, who was the first to coin a really, kind of thing that stuck, a tag on him. He called Donald Trump short-fingered Bulgarian, and that stuck, and Trump hated it. He's so hypersensitive to criticism that anything, he tries everything. He used to send over photographs of his hands. I talked to Graydon about it. He'd send him over photographs all the time. See, they're perfectly normal size. See, it's so embarrassing that he's that personally sensitive. And there he's sitting there next to the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, and he has gone on and on about this loser, Jimmy Kimmel, and he got no ratings. He has no sense of, proportion, no sense of, I'm here at an international, meeting, and I'm going on about some talk show host. I mean, this is what the guy is like.
Yeah.
He's that hypersensitive.
But maybe just circling back for just a minute here.
Yep.
One of the callers to Talkback yesterday said, would you make a joke about 9/11 a week after 9/11? You wouldn't make a joke about 9/11 a week after 9/11. And this story about Charlie Kirk has created, the United States is already deeply divided. It's like a chasm now, and a lot of anger, on both sides.
Yeah.
And I just wonder, it's not, this is not like, this show where it's basically me doing a lot of the writing. Jimmy Kimmel has a whole team of writers. And I just wonder what was going through their mind where they thought weighing in on this would be appropriate. Like, why would nobody in that room maybe stop and think for a moment and say, are we flying a bit too close to the sun with this topic right now at this moment in time? What do you think there, Barry?
Well, every show has done it, and most of what he did was he showed that clip of on the runway of Donald Trump reacting to it. Gee, we're sorry how you feel about the loss of Charlie Kirk. I know he was your friend, and he just launched right into the ballroom that he's building. All these trucks coming in, like he couldn't even accept that as a condolence expression. He was on to pitching his ballroom, so he showed that clip and he said, the fourth stage of grief, construction.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really funny. So some of it was funny, and you're right, it's a sensitivity. You are right. It is a sensitivity you got to be very careful of.
Okay. All right, we'll pick up on this when we come back. I'm Rob Snow, here with Barry McLoughlin from TLC, Transformational Leadership Consultants. This is News Radio.
Now you know with Rob Snow continues on News Radio.
Barry McLoughlin here, president of TLC, Transformational Leadership Consultants. Just a few more questions, thoughts on the whole Jimmy Kimmel affair this week. Is that the end for him? What do you think?
Oh, yeah. I don't think he can come back. He's not going to apologize to all these corporations. He's not going to be giving money. It's certainly extracted from him. That will not happen. He will lose his own credibility. I believe this will be the end of Jimmy Kimmel, and he will walk away with his head held high. I think it does show you one thing, though. The world of broadcast has changed significantly with all the corporatization of it. They're all afraid of it. ABC gave up $15 million personally to Donald Trump that he personally pocketed over some lame legal thing because they're afraid of being blocked on the big corporate issues they want to do. Paramount and CBS, same thing. So they're owning more and more and telling them what to do. And they got Brendan Carr, the FCC chair, big pal of Trump's. He's controlling and shaping this. And so really that's the end of that. So broadcast is moving more and more to streaming. I believe that the streaming giants are the ones where they'll all go to. You saw that, that has happened for all kinds of things. Stern and everybody else, even on radio, have shifted over because, there are limits. And to be fair, the other side of the coin of this is freedom is not unlimited. Freedom is not unlimited. There are limits.
No. Yeah. And, I wasn't enthralled with the FCC chair weighing in on this and talking about licenses, but to his point, ABC is not like other networks. It's a legacy network like CBS and NBC. It's over the air, right? Which is different. It's the same.
It is
with
different.
With this radio show that I'm doing right now. We're on the public airwaves. We're not on Rogers airwaves. Rogers has the privilege to broadcast on these airwaves, and with that comes regulation, and with that comes standards that you have to abide by.
Yeah, so. It comes down to the world has shifted a bit in culture, no question about it. It is a lot looser and a little more obvious than it had been even in my era of comedy. But still, people can get enough riled up, there's no question, and everything's become divided. And now we just want to, the freedom-loving MAGA people now want their own version of cancel culture. So it is interesting. They want to get it off the air. So, really, we've reached that stage of division. And I guess in the end, though, the broadcasters are saying, I can't take that kind of heat. So somebody's getting out of the kitchen. In this case, it's going to be Jimmy Kimmel. So in the end, he will go to a streamer. He'll do one of those things. We're not going to hear the end of Jimmy Kimmel here. I think it will enhance his legacy among his core audience. I think his audience will love him even more for it.
Well, he may be kind of a martyr to the anti-Trump cause,
Yeah, like Stephen Colbert. Look at the reaction.
Well, Stephen Colbert just won the Emmy. Yeah, he just won the Emmy. Yeah. Right.
So, and they love him even more for it. So there you go.
Yeah, I guess he could be part of the resistance, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is true. Yeah, that's the world we're in now. And it isn't going to close. These gaps won't be closing anytime soon, okay? Even the way we treat when terrible events happen, we instantly, from the Oval Office, will say, it's the lefty radicals that are behind this, pronouncing on it before you have really any information whatsoever. And that's the kind of, even our world of justice is shifting, where you used to say, let's hold off till the investigation is completed. Oh, no, we've already cast who this is. And that's, that accusation just spread everywhere. So, that's the world we're in.
Okay. All right. Good to hear from you. Thank you.
Nice to hear from you, Rob. Thank you.
We'll speak to you next week, Barry. Bye-bye. That's Barry McLoughlin. Some provocative take this week. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. President TLC, Transformational Leadership Consultants, Tom Korski. He's with us every week, too, the managing editor at Blacklock's Reporter, with some dynamite stuff this week that you have to hear. It's coming right up on News Radio.
There is no question Rob won't get answered.
Now you know with Rob Snow continues
on News Radio.
Well, he's been minding Ottawa's business all week long. Tom Korski is back with us, the managing editor at Blacklock's Reporter. Welcome back.
Thank you, Rob.
First week back for the House of Commons. That also means that committee work is kicking into high gear, and there was a meeting of the Commons Ethics Committee this week to do a vote on the use of blind trust by cabinet ministers. What happened?
Kind of a big deal, Rob. The opposition members, including Bloc and Conservative members, have taken control of committees. They have the votes to do so, and they have the spirit. They are conducting a statutory review of the Conflict of Interest Act that nobody asked for in Cabinet, and the point is Mark Carney and what they've called the Carney loophole. This was a man who was able to campaign as Prime Minister without disclosing vast stock holdings, and really he held equity in over 600 firms, including federally regulated companies and federal contractors, Canadian Pacific, MasterCard, you name it. And none of that was disclosed under the current act. And when he did finally get around to disclosing it, the Prime Minister did so in July, after he was sworn in, after Parliament had adjourned for its summer recess, and then he put everything in a blind trust and said, well, I can't talk about it. The Prime Minister's pointed out numerous times this is technically within the rules, but it's not really the level of enthusiastic embrace of ethics that opposition members are after. Rob, they're going to close that loophole, and this is all about Carney, Carney, Carney.
How did the Liberals vote?
Oh, they tried to kill it, but they didn't have the votes. They tried to kill it with amendments, and then finally surrendered, although there were some highly entertaining moments in the Ethics Committee. My favorite was one Liberal MP who said, you know, if we force private business people to disclose all their stock holdings when they run for Parliament, this could have a discouraging effect on millionaires who want to become party leaders. Right. It was not a persuasive argument.
No. What a problem to have. As you mentioned, because it's a minority government and rather unique because the NDP didn't reach party status, it's really you have this scenario where the Conservatives and the Bloc are calling the shots at the committees. The Liberals, I have heard, you would know more than me because you really keep a watch on committee work. The Liberals are trying their best to keep a lid on what happens at committees. They're either trying to end meetings early, or they're just not calling meetings at all. There hasn't been a meeting of the Health Committee in more than a year.
No, there hasn't. The difficulty is that there is, by old-time tradition, and this goes back, oh my goodness, 70 years, there are very powerful committees that are chaired by opposition members, public accounts, ethics. I mean, these are crucial committees, government operations. They have caused more investigations that have uncovered more unbecoming conduct involving federal managers and, in some cases, federal appointees. Remember, famously, the We Charity fiasco. That came out of committee. The cabinet, I tell this to people, they don't believe it. The Liberal Party was actually in worse shape the day after the election than they were the day before, because they lost the vote of New Democrats as mother's little helpers in committee. And people say, well, yeah, but all the dramas in the House of Commons. No, my friend.
Yeah, but all the dirt is coming out of the committees. All the dirt is coming out of the committees.
Oh, they'll gut a bill at midnight, and you'll never even know about it till morning.
Let's talk about what's going on at the Department of Industry. Melanie Joly is the industry minister. Now, 6,000 people work for the Department of Industry in Ottawa. What is the industry minister doing? Going on a hiring spree, as I understand it.
It's unusual, Rob. The minister's department has issued a call to contractors. They want to hire private advisors.
Right.
For help in what they call a fundamental rethink of our relations with the United States. You say, wait a minute. Don't we have an entire Department of Foreign Affairs that Minister Joly used to run? Oh, by the way, where she boasted of their deep and profound understanding of the American experience. It's our strength, she told reporters last November. We're unique in the world. We have a relationship that goes deep at different levels of American society, end of quote. And now they're hiring consultants left, right, and center. Rob, the only takeaway here is they are in very big trouble. They don't know what they're doing with Trump.
Yeah. So they're putting out the call, basically putting out a tender. Please come and help us if you're a consultant who can help us understand the United States under Trump. Quote, the contractor will be required to analyze issues and development relevant to the scope and work on key files on an ongoing basis to communicate findings, including email updates, reports, or presentations. As I say, 6,168 employees and offices all across the United States.
That's it. We have trade offices in 15 American cities. Can you imagine the fire department showing up at the warehouse fire and saying we need to hire consultants on how to apply the hoses to the flames? What do we have you for? I mean, it's not good.
Okay. We'll let you calm down a little bit.
I have to calm down.
And then I'll whip you right back up again because the parliamentary budget officer, interim parliamentary budget officer, Jason Jacques, was at the Government Operations Committee this week. And I think he has the soundbite of the week on the budget and what his office knows and the many, many things his office doesn't know about what's coming up in this later than normal budget on November 4th. That's when we come back with Tom Korski, who's been minding Ottawa's business for us, from Blacklock's reporter. This is News Radio.
You have questions.
Now You Know with Rob Snow has the answers.
On News Radio.
Tom Korski is back with us, the managing editor at Blacklock's reporter. November 4th will be Federal Budget Day in Ottawa. The parliamentary budget officer, interim parliamentary budget officer, Jason Jacques, appeared before a committee of Parliament today, or this week rather, was asked by Kelly Block, a Conservative MP, what about fiscal guardrails? What about fiscal targets? And what about this idea we're going to have an operating budget and a capital budget? Let's listen to what the PBO told this committee.
I don't know that the government currently has fiscal anchors, which of course causes the people that I work with a considerable degree of concern at this point. As everyone knows, the government did have fiscal anchors. The previous Minister of Finance had the fiscal anchor of a ceiling of the annual deficit at 1% of GDP, along with a declining debt to GDP ratio. It's unclear where those stand. They haven't been reiterated by the current government, to the best of my knowledge. With respect to your point regarding the capital and the operating side, we haven't seen a clear definition of what would fall into capital and what would fall into operating. So at this point, it's impossible for us and for you as parliamentarians to assess the likelihood or probability of the government hitting any fiscal target.
Right. Other than that, everything is great. We don't know about, this is the parliamentary budget officer. We don't know about fiscal guardrails right now. Fiscal targets are somewhat unreliable. And as for what would be in an operational budget and what would be in a capital budget, the government has given us no indication whatsoever. Clear as mud, I guess you could say, Tom.
Fastest growing line item in the federal budget is debt servicing costs, interest to the bondholders, Rob. It's heading for $60 billion a year. The cabinet in the last 3 years added $1 trillion to our debt ceiling. We actually have one of those. It's not widely reported. It's under the Borrowing Authority Act. And cabinet added $1 trillion to the debt ceiling. And it is now over $2 trillion, which is a sum almost equivalent to the entire annual production of every farmer, small business, truck driver, anyone who functions in the Canadian economy. It's equal almost to our annual GDP. It's a mammoth figure. The kids will be paying the interest on these bonds the rest of their working lives. And when the budget officer says, as he did in Commons Government Operations Committee, with his head in his hands, that if it takes the Department of Finance 10 months to come up with an Excel spreadsheet on what their deficit is, we can just do that, and they will do so next week with a 5-year projection that will be blood-curdling.
Okay, that's something to wait for then. Let's turn our attention to what's been going on with IT contracts, like Arrive Scam and the like, the ArriveCan app. What has the RCMP said about the number of criminal investigations that are active right now?
9 ongoing criminal investigations.
9. Wow.
9 of them into IT contractors and subcontractors suspected of billing fraud. You're correct. The majority of these follow a 2024 Mounties raid on the headquarters of a little company, a little two-man company in a little town called Woodlawn, Ontario, that they became millionaires as brokers on IT contracts, often with sole-sourced awards. And testimony showed they used to take federal managers out for drinks, and they'd take them out for meals, and they had a very jolly time getting sole-sourced contracts that made them millionaires. They're now blacklisted for life. But MPs cast a very wide net when disturbing reports came back from the auditors. Now 9 criminal investigations underway, and they're not done, Rob. That's not the total of it.
Okay, what is it? We have an information commissioner in Canada. What has she said about lost emails related to the ArriveCan investigation?
Speaking of criminal investigations, in ArriveCan, there were mysterious emails that were lost between, believe it or not, the chief information officer for the Government of Canada and the lead ArriveCan contractor whose office was raided by the Mounties. And the problem was those emails mysteriously disappeared when Buddy said, I was changing the batteries on my laptop after those records were sought by MPs and others under the Access to Information Act. Yeah. It is a law that says if you deliberately destroy records sought under the Access to Information Act, that is a felony, you can be fined, you will be jailed. It's actually happened, Rob. Report is due from the Information Commissioner by year's end. See all the chickens that come home to roost?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't buy this for a minute, this whole Well, I was changing the batteries on my laptop thing. When they were doing the gas plant investigation in Ontario,
exactly.
We learned that there are whole backup systems for government emails, depositories of there are backups to the backups. They should not be too hard to find. Can you hang on for just a couple of more minutes? I have a few more stories that I want to get into. I think are very important for the listeners to know. Like, how does the government spend almost $7 billion on a website? I'm calling this the benefits boondoggle. Wait until you hear this. This is an unbelievable story that you'll only read at Blacklock's this week. Be right back with more of Tom Korski from Blacklock's Reporter.
No question goes unasked or unanswered.
Now You Know with Rob Snow returns on News Radio.
We're making him work overtime today. Tom Korski, managing editor, Blacklock's Reporter. Thanks for sticking around for a few more minutes, Tom. I really appreciate it today.
Rob.
I mean, it sounds like a great idea. Okay, let's have a website. So if Canadians have questions or want to make claims on EI or the CPP or the OAS, it'll be an easy-to-use website, easy for them to navigate. I mean, first of all, the budget that they gave to develop this thing is eye-popping enough at $1.8 billion. $1.8 billion. How much does this cost taxpayers so far to try and build this thing?
Well, they're up to $6.6 billion so far. Let's round it and call it $7 billion. They're not done yet. They won't be done until 2030. It's spectacular. They manufactured a problem. The feds have been mailing out old age security checks since 1953. Not a problem. Everyone knows how to mail a check. But they manufactured a problem. They said, we need, as you mentioned, we need this unsinkable ship that can speed through ice fields, and we can't do that ourselves. And so what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to hire our old friends, the consultants. And this has been a meal ticket for consultants for the last 7 years. They're nowhere near finished. They won't say what the total cost will be. And more interestingly, the basic premise of this is that everybody is going to have digital ID. You're going to, if you want to get your check, you're going to have to get digital identification to use the big Master Titanic website. Problem. What if those people who are getting checks to which they are entitled, like a tax refund, say, excuse my language, to hell with your digital ID, I want my money back. Now what? They haven't thought it through, Rob, but this has Titanic written all over it.
$6.6 billion. And it won't be completed they say, until what year did you say? 2030?
5 more years to go. 2030
5 more
is going to
years.
be awesome. It's going to be great, isn't it?
Oh my gosh. I'm just taken aback by that. I mean, that's unbelievable. That's an unbelievable story. Benefits boondoggle. The benefits boondoggle rolls off the tongue. Okay. I mean, it's not quite Imelda Marcos, but how much is the Governor General spending on shoes?
Well, she spent over $1,100 last year on shoes. The reason we found that significant is because it was a part of a $7,500 expansion of her wardrobe that had already cost taxpayers $38,000. More interestingly, the MPs on the Commons Government Operations Committee had told them, stop the spending. They told her, you have to stop the spending. This is grotesque. Food bank use. Look at unemployment. What happened to the kids this summer? Couldn't get a job. Stop the spending. And you know what, Rob? They can't stop the spending. And she just could not resist another $7,484 in new footwear and apparel just last year.
Isn't that so? Well, I mean, come on, Tom, quit your complaint. She's the vice regal, for crying out loud. You don't expect to see her at Payless, do you, at the Billingsbridge Mall?
Only the little people shop at Payless. You know that, Rob.
All right. Mr. Sensible Shoes, we'll talk to you next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rob.
Yeah, bye-bye. Tom Korski, managing editor at Blacklock's Reporter, minding Ottawa's business. Aren't you glad somebody is? Talkback is coming up next. Hey, Friday free-for-all Talkback at that. So we're wide open on topics today. Why don't you start a conversation, and we'll just roll with it. The latest breaking news just ahead. I'm Rob Snow. This is News Radio.
It's time to talk back.
On Now You Know with Rob Snow.
Call now.
And have your say.
1-833-668-2577.
Welcome to Talkback. It's 2 hours of debate and discussion about the big issues of the day. And today's the Friday free-for-all, and that's our favorite day of the week around here. We don't come up with the topics on Friday. We leave that job up to you. So what's on your mind? What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about something that's been in the news? There's always news. Lots of news this week. If you want to talk about something you think should be in the news, you feel free to raise it here. Whatever it happens to be, serious, not so serious, we have a phone line for you. And the phone lines are open right now, 1-833-668-2577, 1-833-668-2577. And if you've never called before, just mention that to us and we'll make your call a priority. We'd love to hear from you on Friday. Every single phone line is available right now. The Jimmy Kimmel news, still a big news story as we end the week. Show pulled by ABC, comments made about the assassination of Charlie Kirk, of course. We played you some of the clips from last night's late night TV shows, very sympathetic to their fellow host, Jimmy Kimmel. And they all portrayed Donald Trump more or less as a dictator who wants to lord over the entire media landscape of America. Is that how you see it? Is that how you see it? Do you view Jimmy Kimmel as a sympathetic figure in all of this? You have sympathy for him. Do you think he's been hard done by? And do you think Donald Trump is acting like a dictator? I know we covered this yesterday in some detail. Took a lot of calls about it. I don't mind getting back into it today with you. There were quite a few people who called yesterday but didn't have a chance to get their say on the air. So if you want to offer an opinion, the floor is yours. It's there for the taking. A couple of clips for you I want you to hear. Found this comment on the Kimmel situation to be quite interesting. This is Hugh Hewitt. Now, Hugh Hewitt is a longtime conservative broadcaster in the United States, both on radio and on television. Always enjoyed listening to Hugh Hewitt. Very bright, not bombastic at all, just very kind of clinical, analytical kind of guy. He's not a host on Fox News. He's on there from time to time as kind of a contributor. But this is what he said about this whole Jimmy Kimmel situation. Hugh Hewitt on Fox News. Let's play that.
The United States has the most robust speech protections in the world. The First Amendment here is much more rigorous than the protections accorded the average British citizen. That does not excuse Jimmy Kimmel's idiocy on Monday night. And ABC is a private company, and unlike you and I right now, they operate in a regulated world on a broadcast network using the public spectrum. So they have an even higher obligation to the public. But I think what ABC was anticipating is they're going to lose half to three-quarters of their audience, and the advertisers are going to flee because Kimmel simply lied about Charlie's murderer. Charlie was assassinated by a left-wing fanatic, and that can be said over and over again, and you can't get away from that. So the decision to suspend, and I suspect eventually cancel Kimmel, is a business decision by ABC. When FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr came out and made comments about that, all he was doing was underscoring that the FCC has to regulate in the public interest, and ABC licensees have to broadcast in the public interest. Public interest does not include telling lies about left-wing nuts. Now, I don't know that ABC would have lost their license, but I know that ABC was looking at their sponsors more than they were looking at Brendan Carr talking about the FCC's legal responsibility. But our First Amendment, much stronger than Brits, and I'm glad that it is.
So that's Hugh Hewitt again from Fox News. ABC, he's saying ABC didn't have much of a choice here other than to pull the show because it's over-the-air broadcasting, and so as such is regulated by the FCC and has to live up to certain obligations, such as what's known, I guess, in that country as the public interest obligation. But of course, for every Hugh Hewitt, there's another commentator saying the United States is headed down a dark path under Donald Trump. And he is seeking to consolidate control over the American media and silence any and all dissenting opinions, and that should scare everyone. For example, this is U.S. Senator Chris Murphy. He's a Democrat from Connecticut, been a senator for about a dozen years. Let's listen to what he had to say.
They aren't even hiding what they are trying to do. President Trump himself has publicly threatened to arrest members of the Soros family simply for funding groups that oppose his agenda. Laura Loomer, maybe the most influential outside advisor to the White House, called on Trump to be a dictator and lock up and silence his political enemies. And last night, they showed us exactly how serious they are. Trump's FCC forced a major network to pull a loud Trump critic, Jimmy Kimmel, off the air, essentially saying that any media actor that doesn't say what Trump wants them to say about Charlie Kirk or Trump's policies is going to be silenced. That's censorship. That's state speech control. That's not America.
So that's another side. Trump is acting like a dictator. He is weaponizing his government to go after and silence political opponents and anyone critical of his policies. What do you think, everyone, on this Friday and the Friday free-for-all? Sympathy for Kimmel? No sympathy for Kimmel? Trump acting like a dictator? Not acting like a dictator? Phone lines available right now. Please join the discussion. Start one of your own. Wide open today. Take it wherever you want to go. We'll follow along. 1-833-668-2577, 1-833-668-2577. And again, if you've never called before, mention that. You'll get to go first. I'm Rob Snow. It's Talkback, Friday free-for-all on News Radio.
Have something on your mind you want everyone to know?
Call now.
Hello.
1-833-668-2577.
It's Talkback on Now You Know with Rob Snow.
Well, let's get going for the Friday free-for-all with John in Red Deer today. Hi, John. You're up first. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I haven't phoned in before, but I got a couple issues. First thing is, I think it was either in the Sun or in the Daily Mail out of the UK, there was an Australian official who talked about their concern for allowing Chinese EVs, and they have allowed them already in Australia, and that they're potential weapons that China could use if there's a conflict or a problem. And I think I've talked to a friend of mine who was a specialist programmer at some high-tech companies. He worked for an oil firm that did lots of, he knows this stuff, right? They were selling these programs for $15 or $20 million a pop. And he told me there's back doors into those chips. So we got to watch that stuff. Next thing is, I think when we're a minority of one, and I appreciate the job you do and the media in Canada, we have to really be vigilant, but we're all a minority of one. And whether it's Jimmy Kimmel or whether it's whoever, whether it's you or whether it's me or anybody, we need to protect free speech. And Donald Trump had the option of turning the other cheek and saying, you know what, I respect Democrats, I respect Republicans, I respect all Americans. And I mean, I have to be careful what I say here, but I guess the thing is that that's really what we should be looking at is building bridges, not divisions, not enmity, not animosity. And I mean, people forget that at 9/11, you know, Canadians took in planes when Americans wouldn't take those planes in Newfoundland and other places. And we took care of them. We got to remind the Americans of that. Our politicians have to remind them of that. You know, so it's one last issue that I'm really concerned about. There's a gentleman who was on YouTube. His name is Sept. He was, I think, a Scandinavian Ironman triathlete. He got the vaccine. I'm not for or against vaccines, but I'm concerned about people who be throwing under the bus who are injured from this thing or from other issues. And we need to really highlight that, not to blame people, but we need to help. Because, I mean, you start to connect the dots, and it's like, okay, so if there is an issue with this, I mean, I know a care worker, she's been unemployed since she got 2 of these things, and her shoulder's messed up, her joints are messed up. I mean, it's got to be an issue because we don't have our doctors, we don't have our nurses, we don't have our police, we don't have our EMTs, we don't have our, you know, just everybody in our society. They matter. They all matter. Everyone. You matter. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a farmer. I mean, I'm growing food. So, you know, nobody will probably miss me too much if I'm gone from something like that. But we need to look at these issues. There's another gentleman called Edward Dowd. He worked for Blacklock. Not that I'm a fan of Blacklock, but he was a hedge fund manager. He wrote a book, Cause Unknown. I just encourage you guys to look at that. We need to look at stuff fairly and equitably, not with a bias.
I would just say there is a vaccine injury program. There have been lots of calls and questions about it, and as I understand it, the program is going under review right now. That's all I really can say about that. I do thank you for your call, though, and raising those issues today. That's what the Friday Free-for-All is all about. Let's go to, from Red Deer to Calgary, Andrew up next on the Friday Free-for-All. Andrew, what's on your mind?
Happy Friday there, Rob. Thanks for taking my call.
Same to you, sir. Thank you.
So earlier in the week, I think, and in other past shows, you talked about what can the government do to make things better for Canadians, like right away. And there's an expression out there that the CRA has that really sticks in my head, and that's called taxable benefits. And I'm thinking, okay, well, it's right there in the title. There seems to be this mandate from the federal government or from the CRA somewhere that says if anything is beneficial to Canadians, we got to take it from them. Is that what that title sounds like to you? Because, you know, if they could fix that and just stop.
Well, we got to take some of it. Got to take some of it, I guess. Got to take some of us.
You know?
Yeah, it's taxable. Right.
Yeah,
if it moves, it's
fair,
taxable.
But, you know, it hurts more than it helps.
Okay, fair enough.
That would be my thought is, you know, this whole taxable benefit is just a bad idea. And you know, let us keep the things that do help us so we can get ahead. That's something the government could do right away to help us out.
All right, sir. Under consideration. Thank you. 1-833-668-2577. There's 2 lines available there for you from Calgary to Halifax, Nova Scotia. Jordan is in Halifax today. Hi, Jordan.
Hey, Rob.
Hi, Jordan. What's on your mind, Jordan?
I just wanted to speak on that Kimmel there. I have zero sympathy at all.
Zero sympathy. Okay. Why is that?
I don't think that Trump was behind his firing like everybody says. They've been criticizing him for how long now? I think it's the backlash from the stupidity of the remarks that he made over the assassination.
Okay.
Like, I don't. Okay. If they wanted to cancel him or get him off the air, why wouldn't they have done it years ago or whenever they want, whenever they point at their chairman or whoever's in FCC? But he come out and spoke about, like, insensitive, like, you don't just mock a death or make fun of it or anything. I can't stand them. If they died, I wouldn't go out and celebrate their passing, right? Like, it's just.
Yeah. I think his supporters would say that's not what he was doing. He was being critical of Trump's reaction?
It's always something to do with Trump. Like,
sure, okay,
no, it's like he could have been canceled many years for his criticism of Trump, but he wasn't. All of a sudden, Charlie Kirk gets shot live, and they don't even care. They don't even say rest in peace. Like, they just, and that's why he got canceled. The backlash. My opinion.
The backlash. Yeah, fair enough. So you think it was because of what the ABC stations across the United States were hearing from, say, viewers, advertisers, those sorts of things,
yes.
right?
Yes, exactly. Like, they've been criticizing Trump for forever, all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you for sharing your opinion on that one. And we'll be right back with more of your phone calls and more of your opinions. It's the Friday Free-for-All Talkback today. I'm Rob Snow. This is News Radio.
Have something on your mind you want everyone to know?
Call now.
Hello.
1-833-668-2577.
It's Talkback on Now You Know with Rob Snow.
Right back to it on the Friday Free-for-All Talkback here. Mike is in Halifax today. Hi, Mike.
How you doing today, buddy?
Very good, Mike. What's on your mind?
Oh, I think you're going to have to stop having that fella on. That Blacklock, that's just killing me. Like,
okay.
I don't care about Kimball. I don't care about Trump. Like, what's going on in our own country? These people are robbing from us. They're collecting taxes that are supposed to go to certain things, like gasoline tax was supposed to go to roads. Income tax was collected for the war effort, was supposed to go away. Like, how many, let's just say, how many $100,000 would be in that 6 whatever billion?
Yeah, isn't that a heck of a story? Isn't that a heck of a story? Yeah.
And last week it was two others where they're just throwing money around to politicians and that start up their own little consulting businesses or whatever businesses. It's like, these guys are criminals. We hire these guys through elections to do the bidding of the country. Like, this is...
I guess, at what point does it become real money? For people who may have missed Tom Korski from Blacklocks today, this is a Blacklock story from this week. Let me read this, okay? A federal plan for an easy-to-use website to file benefits claims has cost $6.6 billion to date, records show. The program was launched in 2017 with a $1.8 billion budget and remains incomplete. Benefit delivery modernization is a multi-year program led by the Department of Employment to replace aging and complex legacy systems with a single, modern, easy-to-use, and secure software platform. Said a memo from the Department of Public Works. Its goal is to provide a seamless experience for Canadians accessing employment insurance, Canada Pension Plan, and old age security benefits. Costs had more than tripled. Costs have more than tripled from 1.8 billion in 2017, 2.2 billion April 22 to 6.6 billion in November of 2024. Well, here we are. It's September of 2025. It's probably higher than that now, and it's not going to be finished for another 5 years. Tom said.
Yep, and you know what is seamless? My CPP in old age arrives in my bank account 3 banking days every month before, and it's never failed. Like, you didn't need all this stuff. Like, this is just scams to take our tax money and look after their buddies. Like, after
somebody's done very well by this. I know, Tom. I know, Mike. I know you're frustrated, and it's just, you think about. I mean, as I say, $6.6 billion gets you a lot of affordable housing. It gets you a lot of nurses or doctors or physiotherapists or improving pensions for low income seniors like yourself. I mean, it could do a lot of good, but instead they've been at this now for 8 years. They've spent almost $7 billion, and this platform is still 5 years away. What will the final number be? 10 billion, 11 billion, 12 billion?
When we hear the statistics on food banks and the poverty level and things like that, like this is just, this is mismanagement.
4 million visits to the main Toronto food bank this year. 4 million visits.
Yeah. It's really like when I hear that, it's so frustrating to think that all the
it can be
people that are
maddening, for
suffering
sure.
in our country.
Thank you, Mike.
Anyway,
look, try to have a good weekend, okay? Go watch the Jays game tonight. The Jays could clinch a playoff spot tonight. Go enjoy yourself. Be right back on Talkback on News Radio.
Have something on your mind you want everyone to know?
Call now.
Hello.
1-833-668-2577.
It's Talkback on Now You Know with Rob Snow.
Yeah, Friday Free for All Talkback. Just a note about the Blue Jays, okay? Dan Schulman, who calls the Blue Jays games for Sportsnet, he's the play-by-play announcer for the Sportsnet broadcasts of the Blue Jays, says the Blue Jays can clinch a playoff spot with a win tonight, but they need some help. The Jays need to win tonight, and then losses from any two of the Tigers, Red Sox, or Guardians. If two out of those three teams lose tonight and the Jays win, then the Jays would clinch a playoff spot. And as well, just a programming note, if you will, that game tonight against Kansas City is on Sportsnet. It was supposed to be exclusively on Apple TV Plus, but Sportsnet managed to sign a deal with Apple. So Sportsnet will show the Apple feed, meaning Dan Schulman and Buck Martinez won't be calling the game. The game is on Sportsnet, it's just they won't be calling it. First pitch, 7:40 Eastern for the Jays tonight. Max Scherzer getting the call for the Jays tonight. Go Jays. Jody is in Calgary. Jody's up next. Hi, Jody.
Hey, buddy. It's me, your favorite caller. I just want to I have a couple of topics here. Yeah. I was just reading an article here, and I want to applaud the Canadian government. Canada bans Irish band kneecap over its alleged support for Hamas and Hezbollah. I think this is very great. I know it's censorship, but I think this is good censorship.
Good censorship. Okay.
Yeah,
is there such a thing as good censorship, Jody? Okay.
Not really, but this has
All right.
to be.
Do you remember when that? Okay. Let me just play devil's advocate.
Sure.
I don't want pro Hamas rappers playing in Canada, but my choice would be, well, I'm not going to go to the concert, right? I wouldn't go to a concert like that. Just like I wouldn't go see an American Christian evangelical concert. And they weren't letting that guy perform when he was doing concerts all across Canada. What was your opinion on that when they were canceling not letting that guy have his concerts?
You're right. I was totally against that one. So maybe you do have a point there. You have a point.
Okay.
You have a point. And my and my second topic is you're not gonna like this, but I'm predicting the Yankees to take the American League East, and they will go to the World Series. Toronto, they're just too inconsistent in their hitting and their pitching, and I hate to say that. And Bichette, if he does get healthy, of course that will help. But I just have a feeling the Yankees are playing good right now, and they're hitting on all cylinders. I think they're going to take the American League East.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see. It's 3 games. They're up 3 games over the Yankees right now in the American League East.
Even if they win if they win the division and they get a bye, like I still say they will meet the Yankees like regardless.
You don't think they can beat the Yankees? Okay.
I don't think so.
One thing with the Yankees, they have bullpen issues too, and sometimes they're just sloppy and stupid. They make a lot of mistakes. They don't run the bases well. They make errors in the infield. Mistakes that the Jays don't make.
Unreal. Their
hitting is unreal. Yeah, their hitting is unreal.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, buddy.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that Aaron Judge, you look at the guy and you're just like, do they really build men like that? Like he stands in the batter's box. You're like, who made that? Like he looks like Hercules. Who's up next? David in Calgary. David. Hi, David.
How you doing, Rob?
Very good, David. Thank you for calling. What's on your mind?
Yeah. So I just want to say two things, and I'm glad what happened with the last caller happened. So the truth is, what goes around comes around. If we are truly for free speech, we have to allow free speech to thrive, even the ones that we disagree with. You understand?
Of course. So that's the very test of
you
us.
Can't say, oh, exactly. So you again, I'm all for regulating speech in a way. You understand? You shouldn't say hurtful things. You shouldn't say things that are damaging. But even if you say those things, people sue people all the time. You can sue for defamation. You can do things. That's what I would expect in a civil discussion to be. Not, for example, I was listening to your show yesterday, and one of the callers was calling McCartney and Trudeau all kinds of names. But you don't see RCMP going up to your door to arrest you. You don't see people censoring you for that. It's the same thing. We should allow free speech, even the ones we disagree with. And I would expect that if you call yourself a good president, if you call yourself the president of the whole people, whether they are Democrats or Republicans or whatever they are, this incident, this very tragic incident of somebody being shot on air should actually make you bring everyone together. Your words should come out as a leader, as a president for all. You understand? It's not a time for you to start saying things that are really divisive, things that are stirring up people. We have people who have been saying, oh, the school shootings were false. We have people who have been saying all kinds of things. But you don't see them being arrested. You don't see, they call Joe Biden, they are still calling Obama all kinds of names. You understand? So people should be more tolerant to dissenting opinions. And if you have any issues with it, that's why the courts are there. You can always sue for defamation. You can always say, oh, this person said something against me that is untrue, and I'm taking you to court. You understand? That's where you settle things, not censorship or coming out on air as a president of the supposed free world country, and saying, oh, whoever is saying things against me, they should be off air. So that's the first thing. The second thing, briefly, is just I agree with I think Mike or someone that called about our taxes. I think the taxes are just too much. The taxes are too much. It's not encouraging people to work hard, because it's like you're taking a lot from people who are working hard and giving to people who are not working too hard. And again, this is not against people who are not working too hard or who don't have that opportunity. I think they should get those social services and all of those things. But I think we are wasting money on other things that can be diverted to those social services while tasking people that are working hard. Thank you so much, Rob.
Okay. I can disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. Okay? That's a well-known saying attributed to Voltaire about free speech. Good point that you make there. We'll be right back. This is News Radio.
Have something on your mind you want everyone to know?
Call now.
Hello.
1-833-668-2577.
It's Talkback on Now You Know with Rob Snow.
Yep, Friday free-for-all Talkback. Donna is in Halifax today. Hi, Donna. You're up next, Donna.
For taking my call.
You're welcome.
I just want to talk, well, I guess I'm kind of soft-hearted at times. You probably heard about that little 8-year-old boy up in Ontario who was in his bed. He was shot and murdered. And then the man that was murdered in front of his wife and 4 kids. And the young Ukraine, the 22-year-old Ukrainian lady.
Familiar with them all.
Yeah, she was stabbed by some punk and whatnot. And then there was Charlie Kirk. This has all happened recently. I shed tears over every one of them, and I didn't know any of them. Even Charlie Kirk, I never knew much about him. But the past week, I've looked up all kinds of stuff on him, and a lot of stuff that I found, he wanted everybody to have a better family life, follow the 10 Commandments. He certainly was not a Nazi, a fascist, and a racist like the Democrats and the media were portraying. He did not deserve to die. It was terrible. And I have a niece over in PEI many years ago. She was murdered by her abusive ex-husband. Anyway, He shot her 5 times. He killed her. It ruined. And she had three little kids. She wasn't even 30. The 2 little ones were about the same age as Charlie Kirk's little kids. And those kids cried themselves to sleep every night for their mother because they didn't understand where's mommy. And it's horrible what families have to go to. Same as that little 8-year-old boy and those other kids whose father was murdered. I don't know how any human being can murder another person for no reason. It's ridiculous. But as much now, I don't care for Justin Trudeau or what's his name, Mark Carney. But I would be upset if somebody murdered them. I wouldn't be dancing on the street or making videos and say, "Oh, I'm glad they're dead. I'm glad they're dead."
But some people would.
Disgusting.
I know, but you understand some people would.
People are acting.
Yeah. Some people would. Yeah.
But my mother taught us better than that. You can have different. If we went, you can have one opinion on something, and I might have another one. But I'm not going to shoot you for your opinion, and I hope you don't shoot me for mine.
I won't.
We should
The
all
worst
be
I'll
able
ever
to
do is hang up on you, Donna.
without fear of being killed.
Right.
But anyway.
Okay,
I
Donna.
was really upset the last couple of weeks about all these people that
Understandable.
been murdered.
Yeah.
But those are the ones that came to my mind. And that little one, Charlie Kirk's little kids, it's a shame. And same as that other man with the 4 kids, that creep that killed him for no reason in front of his 4 kids and wife.
Well, there's 2 of them. Yeah, there was 2 of them. Yeah, there was 2 of them in that particular case. I believe that was in Vaughan, Ontario, just north of Toronto. All right, Donna, thank you. I understand your point. It's well taken. Keith, up next, also in Nova Scotia today. Hi, Keith.
Good afternoon, Rob. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, hear you just fine. Keith, what's on your mind today?
I just got a couple of things just off the top here. I just reading on my phone here that President Trump had his $15 billion defamation lawsuit against the New York Times thrown out by a judge.
Yes, that's just breaking now. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, there's kind of there's something there for Mr. Trump to chew on, I guess, for something else. And I just saw on the news here on CNN. I don't watch a lot of news anymore, but sometimes I just channel surf and I see things. And apparently 51% of Republicans are saying the country is going down the wrong road. So that's interesting. And the other thing, I guess, a couple other things I'd like to say about, I'll just talk about Trump since that's what I've been seeing here. He's, I definitely think the man is going to be a dictator if he's not already.
Why do you say that?
When you look at who he likes, who he admires world strongmen. Everybody knows that. So he has a penchant for dictators. And when you look at what he's doing as far as the renovations at the White House and the grounds of the White House, that tells me he's not leaving. That says that he's changing things around to suit him. So he's not going to leave. And a couple of years ago,
do you think even though it's against the Constitution of the United States, he's going to try for a 3rd term in 2028?
Do I think he's going to try for a 3rd term?
Yeah.
I think that he'll probably avoid that and just simply not leave. And the Constitution be damned. Because it seems that the direction he's leaning in right now, he doesn't care about the Constitution. That's my opinion anyway. It looks that way.
All right. You've shared it. Thank you, Keith, for sharing your opinion on the Friday free-for-all and lots of time to gather yours as well. At 1-833-668-2577, this is News Radio.
Have something on your mind you want everyone to know?
Call now.
Hello.
1-833-668-2577.
It's Talkback on Now You Know with Rob Snow.
Yeah, welcome to it. Is it Renee up next on Talkback? Renee?
Yes, it is Renee.
Hi, Renee.
Hey,
what's on your mind?
How's things, Rob? It's Happy Friday and all that.
Thank you.
I phoned phoned to talk about the Kimmel thing, and
Okay.
I phoned to help along those poor people suffering from Trump hate derangement syndrome, because they're not listening to all the facts, and all that they want to do is go orange man bad. We're terrified of the orange man. All you have to do, Rob, is follow the money. Disney owns ABC. ABC is who the boss of Kimmel was. Disney is bleeding money. He was losing them $25 to $30 million a season because his audience had declined so rapidly because he was only featuring to talk to one half of America, and that would be the orange man bad half. So Disney has, across the board, been financially strapped because they've destroyed many good IPs such as Star Wars and Marvel and Raiders of the Lost Ark. They can't make any money because they went woke. And the last thing they needed was for some blithering idiot on late-night television alienating the other half of America. His audience was in the toilet. He was losing the money, and Bob Iger at Disney was looking for a reason to fire him, and Kimmel gave it to him. That's all it is. Follow the money. Now they
All
can
right,
go
let's follow another money trail. Let's follow another money trail. You want to follow the money, okay?
Nextel or whatever that is.
Nexstar. Okay, so you have this company. It owns dozens and dozens of ABC affiliates all across the United States, looking to do a merger with another company called Tegna, right? $6.2 billion deal. If it gets approved, they would own 265 television stations in 44 states. Who gets the final word on whether that deal goes through?
Well, yeah, it's just like in Canada. Canadians have
It's the FCC, right? It's the FCC. Come on, answer the question. You know the answer to the question, right?
It is the FCC.
Every one of those TV stations needs a license from the FCC, so it's best to keep the FCC happy.
Because it's
what
public
makes the
airways and
FCC
the government
mad?
controls it.
What makes the FCC mad? Constant, nonstop anti-Trump rants from people like Jimmy Kimmel, right?
And
that's another money trail. You wanted to follow the money. That's another money trail.
I understand that.
Okay.
But whenever you get 200 different stations being called by hundreds of people, being told that Kimmel is a problem, that also factors into this. You can't just blame it on the fact that these people wanted to do a merger. Kimmel set himself up. Kimmel was stupid. He was given the opportunity to apologize, and he basically told Disney, F you. That's documented. He had the
apparently he's not going to apologize. He wants to get out of his contract.
Well, there he goes. He's
what
out.
They're saying.
So he's out of his contract, and he's good riddance gone.
All right. Thank you, Renee. Thank you. I think that's it for hour number one. Boy, that sure flew by. Hour number one. Okay, final hour of the week for us is coming up right after the latest breaking news. We can talk about Kimmel. We could talk about anything else as well because it's Friday. So you take the lead, start a conversation. We'll be right back. The news is next on News Radio.
It's time to talk back.
On Now You Know with Rob Snow.
Call now.
And have your say.
1-833-668-2577.
Welcome to hour number two of Talkback. Friday free-for-all. Wide open. Take the lead for us. Take the reins. Mark up first in hour number two. Hi, Mark. You're on the air. What's on your mind today?
Hello, Rob. Thanks for taking my call. Can you hear me?
A pleasure. I hear you just fine, Mark. Yes, go ahead, please.
Thank you. I just wanted to cover a couple of things. First of all, I'd encourage your listeners to do their own research. However, there was a woman on recently talking about the lawlessness.
Yes.
Generally, the lawlessness and all the break-ins and the murders. So in 1972, I think, Jean-Pierre Goyer, his last name is spelled Goyer. He was a Solicitor General under Pierre Elliott Trudeau.
Okay.
He literally said, if you can look this up, he literally said, for far too long we've been concentrating on the punishment of the criminal and the safety of the public. And from now on, we will be concentrating on the rehabilitation of the criminal at the expense of the safety of the public. So that's sort of like, not exact words, but that's basically what it was. So like, I don't know why he did that. Like, I mean, obviously we're in a lawless society now, so that's 50 years ago. That's just something people can look up. Another thing too is one other thing you were talking about with the gentleman earlier was regarding this government website that made it easier for people to collect their benefits. That was
well, it hasn't made anything easier yet because it's not even up and running. So, right? It won't be up and running for another 5 years, apparently. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and the thing that stuck out was that people will need a digital ID.
That's what he said. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Korski.
So So I'm going to marry that with what I'm about to tell you now. In December 2024, which was less than a year ago, Saudi Arabia declared it's called the Riyadh Declaration on Artificial Intelligence Global Digital ID. Okay, December 24th, they came out with that. So I'm a very big picture kind of person. I think very spiritually, and I really don't think artificial intelligence is going to lead us anywhere good. People might think that it's going to, make things easier, and everything that is forced, right? If we need to have if I'm going to, at some point in my life, if I'm still alive, if I'm going to need a digital ID in order to buy or sell anything, or if that's going to be forced on us, that's something that I would like, your listeners and really the whole world to be aware of, because I don't think that's going to lead anywhere good. And I don't want to get into I have very strong spiritual beliefs. Like, I mean, there's a book that talks about this. Like, I know you once said on there, so I don't want to do a Bible study, but it's a historical book and a supernatural book. So if people were to look into that, and also what's going on here. So the AI, the artificial intelligence, digital ID, and I believe that's going to lead to nowhere. So people's souls are more important to me than money. And it says in the good book, the root of all evil is the love of money, right? Greed and all this, and we can talk about that and go blue. So I just wanted to make that statement. Like, I mean, but also the lawlessness, right? It almost seems that. What did he do that for? To make lawyers busy or something? I don't, obviously the safety of the public should be paramount in any civilization, right? Sure, you want to rehab the criminal, but we're talking about.
If I could just just back up a bit to this digital ID. I hear concerns about this all the time. I don't pretend to really know much about it. In the Blacklock's reporter story, which is based on a document that Blacklock's obtained, which was called a minister's transition binder. So the old cabinet minister is gone, a new cabinet minister is sworn in, they give them a transition binder. These are all the big projects that we're working on. And this was one of them, what they're calling a benefits delivery modernization solution. This is the thing that started out with a $1.8 billion budget and has cost more than $6.6 billion so far. So it will make it easier, they say, for people to access information about employment insurance, CPP, OAS, all the benefits from the government. Okay. What it says is by 2030, the new benefit delivery modernization solution will provide an easy-to-use, integrated, adaptable, and secure cloud-based platform. Why is the government proceeding with procurement for issuing and verifying digital credentials, is what it says. And then it says digital credentials, what you would call a digital ID, digital credentials are secure digital versions of physical documents like work permits or boating licenses that can be stored in a digital wallet. They offer a quicker, safer, more secure, and more cost-effective way to access government services. What's wrong with that? What are your concerns about that?
Well, it's not going to work. So George H. I'm just gonna want to even back up a little bit further. George H.W. Bush. He would he would basically gush about this New World Order thing, right? Like, I mean, even people on the air now, like people like yourself, maybe not you, but other people that are have talk shows on Global News, they've brought this word up, right? New World Order. They sneak it in there, and George H.W. Bush gushed over that, right? And so, and one of the things he said, when we are successful. And we will be. So obviously they plan to push this through. So when you say what's wrong with it, it's for me. I'm very spiritual minded. Like, I mean, So I don't think it's going to work because I think
you don't think it's going to work. You think it's part of the New World Order. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to. We have to go. We have to go. I just wanted to explore that just a little bit further and tie it back into the story that we were talking about with Mr. Korski. But I'll have to go now. Thank you. You've got us off to an interesting start for hour number 2. I'm Rob Snow. It's News Radio.
Have something on your mind you want everyone to know?
Call now.
Hello.
1-833-668-2577.
It's Talkback on Now You Know with Rob Snow.
Chestermere. Up next, Martin in Chestermere. Hi, Martin.
Hello there, Rob. How are you?
Hanging in there, buddy. Yeah, almost quitting time.
All right. I'm not a guy that follows politics very much. What I don't understand is why were they able to have 85 people on the ballots on the Pierre Poilievre's riding in Ontario, and they had 220 in Alberta here when what they ended up doing is taking people's name off, and you just wrote down the name of the person you wanted to be voting for. Why is that allowed? In my riding at Chestermere, I had 5 different person I could choose. How can you allow 85 in one riding and 200 and some in the other? How does that work? I'm not much politics. I figured I'd give you a call. Well, maybe you can enlighten me.
I mean, it's allowed. It's allowed under the rules. Now, maybe the rules should change. And, Mr. Poilievre says that his party would introduce a bill in the House of Commons, but, the Conservatives are in the opposition. So there's not much hope of a conservative bill advancing through the House of Commons. But, the way the rules are written right now, sir, it's wholly and completely legitimate, if not annoying and maybe even distasteful.
It's not fair.
Yeah.
It's not fair. And then I just want to talk about a little quick. Monday you had some kind of expert, Brian, whatever, around 10 o'clock. I was going to call that day. He's saying that how is Pierre's going to do in his review and all that. Well, if people would sabotage his writing and put 85 people in there, try to vote for, he probably would have won anyways. Like I said, I don't get much in politics, but I don't think that's right. I disagree with this one all the way.
Okay. All right.
As far as people hating Mr. Trump, my goodness, whatever it is, do like me, go to work, pay your taxes, don't complain, and hope life is good. It's okay. It's all right.
Okay.
They say one person can change stuff. I'm sorry. My vote cannot change the way things are in this world. I'll be honest, I don't want
you never know. I mean, I think back to the last election. There was a riding near Montreal called Terrebonne. It's like suburban Montreal.
Terrebonne? Okay, yeah.
Terrebonne. And the Bloc candidate there lost by 1 vote. Lost by one vote. So one vote.
I take that
one
back.
vote.
I take that
one
back.
vote. Okay. So one vote can make a difference. You just ask Yves Francois Blanchette. He'll tell you all about it. All right. Thank you. Gotcha. Good call, Martin. Grant is in Kitchener. Up next. Hello, Grant.
Yeah, good day. Yeah, I'm going to talk about this crybaby Trump. The network should stand up and say, we're not going to remove him. Again, he's nothing but a crybaby. He needs to Why doesn't he run to his mommy and cry to mommy that this guy's making fun of me? So the next time that Trump does something to another celebrity or says something bad to, then he has to step down. And I wouldn't. And I'm appalled if the network would say to Mr. Kimball, apologize. No way. I take him to court.
Well, it's not the network. It's the affiliate TV was a company that owns a bunch of television stations that happen to be ABC affiliates has said, we won't be airing any kind of Jimmy Kimmel show until he apologizes.
No. They need to stand up to him. But they're a bunch of chickens. So I guess
bunch of chickens. Okay. All right.
This is Trump's world. So no one lives in the state. This is all Trump's world. So,
all right.
I don't know.
I got you, Grant. You're mad that they canceled him, suspended him, and you don't think he has anything to apologize for.
No, it's free.
No.
Like your color.
Well, it's okay. You have free speech to go out on the sidewalk and scream your head off about how much you hate Donald Trump. When you're on the public airwaves, like Jimmy Kimmel is,
right?
Different rules there, Grant. There are different rules there. Okay, I got to run, Grant. Thank you. Thank you for your call, Grant. Let's go to Andre. Let's fit Andre in here really quick. Hi, Andre.
Hello.
Hey, Andre. Thanks for waiting there today. Wanted to get some new voices on the air today.
Yeah, very popular. Love your show.
Thank you, Andre.
One of your segments weeks ago, and I'm very sorry when I said to you that you were a downer, but it wasn't to you, Rob. So because you're completely not that. It was one of your topics. That's what I'm talking about today.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about the cost of living and how hard it is for some people to get by. Right? Yeah.
You should be my eyes. Thank you. But yeah, and now, you know what? And I heard another subject. I don't know when it was. It was about what can we do if they were the government to do to change things better. I heard that. And I think, but one I hear a lot from the people and from the show, for one, that when you work or you work hard, it doesn't matter, the tax that they take away is just so exhausting. And two, what I think they should be doing, and it just mind bubbles me, is all the federal agents, like how many is there and how much they make a year. I think that money should be like half, 3/4 of it should be put somewhere else. What do you think?
Okay. Well, the federal government is the largest employer in the country, Andre. There are 370-some thousand of them. Okay. And in just a few years, they will be making, when you include salary, benefits, and the value of the pension, the equivalent of $176,000 a year each.
So what can be, let's say that it does happen because the stars lined up, what's going to happen to those people?
In the mid-1990s, because the economy wasn't great, debt payments were very, very high. What the government of the day did, and it was a liberal government, it did massive downsizing. It let go 40, 50,000 people. I don't know if Prime Minister Carney is going to do the same kind of thing, but that's what they did in 1995. Okay, we got to go, Andre. Thank you for your call this week. Be right back on Talkback.
Have something on your mind you want everyone to know?
Call now.
Hello.
1-833-668-2577.
It's Talkback on Now You Know with Rob Snow.
Staying in Kitchener and speaking to Greg on the Friday Free-for-All Talkback. Greg, what's on your mind?
Well, I called early this week on that day where it was about the high prices of everything and different ideas you were asking for, and I was the one who said if they could somehow implement like a graduated pricing, kind of like income tax brackets, like pricing brackets, and then
progressive pricing.
As well.
Right.
Yeah, like
progressive pricing
based on either like your tax return or your net worth kind of thing. Just put you in a different category and then contribute to the overall problem differently. But then again, near the end, I heard the one guy say the same kind of thing about like sort of here's healthcare spending account, spend it how you want, and kind of idea. And then I was thinking that almost instead of just health, if just like that carbon tax while it lasted was supposed to offset whatever. Okay, now that's gone. So maybe just instead of picking any particular thing, give anybody under a certain benchmark something annually. Let them spend it how they want, and then again, a bit higher up, they get a bit less. Another graduated thing, but just almost like rainy day fund. And then if somebody would say, okay, well, where's that money going to come from? I was going to say, when you hear these banks, oh, okay, this quarter we only made $100 million. Well, maybe 1% of that, almost like a 1% charity tax almost on any business, over a certain benchmark. And, I don't think they miss it, like take it from places that, I don't think they would really be affected one way or the other, but it would make a huge difference down low. And again, in some kind of graduated way. So just that one other thought I wanted to add on Wednesday, but couldn't get back in. So for what it's worth.
Okay. Well, I was thinking about that, progressive pricing. I don't know if it would work on a retail level. Okay. Say you're in a, you're in a line and it's like, well, Mr. Snow, you make X amount of money a year, so your loaf of bread is $4. The guy behind me is on social assistance and he gets to buy his bread for $1. I don't know how that is gonna fly, right? So, but they do have it though. It's not like it doesn't exist. For example, in some provinces like Manitoba, here in Quebec, where I am, this is how it works already with childcare. Take Quebec, for example, which is always held up as the big standard for childcare because we started really heavily subsidizing universal childcare at $7 a day. It's what the whole $10 a day childcare goal is based on at the federal government. Started at $7 a day, and then the government realized, well, we can't really offer it for $7 a day. So they changed it, and now it's all based on income. And the more you make, the more your subsidized childcare actually costs. So it's not like this kind of pricing system that you're floating out there doesn't exist in the real world. It does. Can you do it at a Loblaws grocery store? I don't know. That's kind of going to be tricky, I think. Thanks for the call, though. Good to hear from you. It's Talkback.
Have something on your mind you want everyone to know?
Call now.
Hello.
1-833-668-2577.
It's Talkback on Now You Know with Rob Snow.
The home stretch of the Friday free-for-all. Robert is up next. Robert, g'day to you.
Hello.
Hi, Robert. What's on your mind?
Yeah. Well, there were a lot of things on my mind, but I heard the guy call in about saying, why would we have that many candidates? He seemed to want to think we should set a limit on the number of candidates. So what I want to know is who's going to be appointed to decide which candidates can and can't run. I
wouldn't want something like that because I think independents should be able to run. Parties, of course, are already choosing through nomination races and other various backroom wheeling and dealing who gets to run for their parties, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I sort of agree with that. So my solution wouldn't be to put a person name to decide who can run. Yeah. You set a bond that the people have to pay to run.
Well, that's one way.
$10,000.
Sure. Yeah.
And then you set a rule that you only get it back if you get 5% or more of the vote.
Maybe a little too high for me. Maybe a little too high for me, but maybe a little too high. Something like 2%, maybe.
Yeah, even that, because if that 200 and some candidates in one riding, most of them are going to get 0.1%.
Here, I think when I was speaking with,
happen, they're not going to repay it.
Okay, if you'll allow me, when I was speaking with conservative organizers, people who have been involved with election campaigns, and NDP organizers, people who have even run for office, what they tell me, the big loophole that needs to be closed with this group that keeps doing this is they're signing up, say, well, in the case of Battle River Crowfoot, 200 candidates, right? 200 candidates.
Yep.
And they all have the same official agent. Okay. Now, the official agent is supposed to be responsible for basically everything else that the candidate is not doing, making sure all the financial rules are followed and all the paperwork is submitted and all of this kind of stuff. Is a very important position, being the official agent of a candidate. And that you should really only have one official agent. Rob Snow's running in this riding. This is his official agent. Robert in Calgary is running in the same riding. You can't have the same official agent as me. You should have your own official agent. That would seem
that makes sense.
That would probably put a pretty quick end to this if 200 different people had to have all of their own official agents. Okay, Robert? All right.
Yeah, that might solve it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to let you go. It seems like you're having another conversation there. I'll let you go. Pat in Kitchener up next on the Friday Free for All. Hi, Pat. What do you want to talk about, Pat?
How are you?
Very good.
Yeah, I think that, if you're outraged about Jimmy Kimmel's firing, but you stay silent on, the UK arresting 12,000 people for social media posts, which includes a comedian that was recently detained by 5 officers for an post. I don't think that you're in the business of defending free speech. I think you're in the business of defending your own side. I think that Charlie Kirk's approach is in fact the correct one. You don't fire people, you engage in dialogue. Imagine for a second if instead of firing Kimmel, the network hosted a series of interviews with someone from the opposite political spectrum and Kimmel. I think that in society we want to encourage more conversations, which I think in essence will promote more dialogue and less division. Now, practically what this means is that deplatforming and accusing people of hate speech to censor them can't be something that we can rely on. The focus should really be on, I think that the focus should really be on strengthening our democracy through seeking truth and more speech over less speech and firing people and virtual signaling.
Yeah.
That's kind of my view on it.
So you would favor something maybe along the lines, I don't know if it would ever reach the same kind of intellectual level, but maybe something like the William Buckley, Gore Vidal debates of 50 years ago, something like that. I think completely ideological opposites. You have the lefty Gore Vidal going after the neocon William F. Buckley, something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
I think this is one of the reasons why podcasts have taken off so much, because they allow this platform where you probe these ideas. If somebody says something, you need a lot of time to probe. Okay, what did you actually mean by this? Tell me what you meant. Whereas, Kimmel has 5, 10, 15 seconds to say something, and then all of a sudden, he gets fired over it. And it's interesting because, when somebody on the right gets fired, if it's Roseanne Barr or Tucker Carlson or, Shane Gillis, these guys get fired, the right gets upset. When somebody on the left gets fired, the left gets upset. But, they're never kind of standing up for each other and saying, no one should get fired. We should just talk this out. We should talk more instead of firing people.
Amen.
I think that solves a lot of the division.
Good stuff, Pat. Thank you. Be right back on Talkback on News Radio.
Have something on your mind you want everyone to know?
Call now.
Hello.
1-833-668-2577.
It's Talkback on Now You Know with Rob Snow.
Going to Foothills next. Wayne is up next. Hi, Wayne. You're on the Friday Free for All. What's on your mind today?
jump in on a couple of things on the progressive pricing that you were talking about. I was thinking maybe rather than that, because I agree with you from a retail perspective, that would be a nightmare. But what if the government set up a progressive tax type system so that each year when you file your taxes for the upcoming year are based upon what your net income was. So low income earners could have a tax rate that's like almost zero. So if they only made $75,000, why bother taxing them in the following year? Whereas high income earners could have an increased taxes. Now I get it that would cause a challenge. Maybe they would have to have categories or something like that. But at least then you're not disrupting the retail side, which I think you're correct. And so people would actually have money in their hands throughout the year because their tax rate might be really low because they've got low income. So they've got more disposable income. So that was just one thing I was thinking on that side. The other thing was this Jimmy Kimmel thing has just kind of gotten out of hand. And I think if you read what his comments really were, he didn't say anything other than condolences for Charlie Kirk and his family. And the problem that I get with the amount of pressure put on to the networks to get rid of Jimmy Kimmel, what if this was a Democrat in the White House, and what if they didn't like probably most of Fox News? Would they say they're going to pull the license for Fox News as well, whether it's Laura Loomer or Bill O'Reilly or Laura Ingraham? So I think in one of the things that years and years and years ago, Mitch McConnell said to the Democrats when they wanted to change the rules in the Senate, he said, be careful what you wish for, because every rule that you change now will apply in the future as well, or should apply in the future, and will you like it then? And so that's some of the concerns I have with
I think I would dispute just a little bit, and respectfully, about how Jimmy Kimmel described the motivations of the suspect in this case, because he described the suspect, first of all, as a 22-year-old kid. And he said MAGA is desperately trying to describe this kid as anything but one of them. I mean, how do you interpret that as anything but one of them? Other than, he's a MAGA guy. When based on everything that we've been told so far, the alleged perpetrator was anything but a MAGA guy. His family may have been all Republican, voted for Trump, but based on everything that we've learned about this person.
Well, but I to me that comment says that, and he was right. Kimmel was right. The first thing that they wanted to do was to blame it on the left. So they didn't want this guy to be anywhere near
anything but one of
supporter.
them. That's how you interpreted that. Okay.
Yeah, because what were the first things that they came out? They said he was transgender. They said he was this. He said he was that. He was, and it was driven from all the left's indoctrination of people and stuff like that. So they didn't want any of the mud hitting on them. They were trying to make sure it landed on the Democrat side. So I think that's
okay. Well, where does it land? Where does it land? I mean, it lands with him if he did it, right? It lands with him.
Yeah, and the reality is that the left and the right, they all have these people. It's It's not about
I don't think anybody's disputing that.
Yeah, well, so I mean, you can't associate one person's actions against a whole group of people to say that
against the whole group. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
All right. Thank you. Very good. Yeah, Wayne. Let's go to Wade. From Wayne to Wade. From Foothills to Sylvan Lake. Wade.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi, Wade. What's on your mind today?
Good day, sir.
Yep. Good day to you.
I would like to talk about the Alberta Prosperity Project.
Fair enough. What about
do you
it?
know much about that, or I would just like to.
I'm somewhat familiar with it. Yeah, I mean, this is the leading and what I've been told, most organized of the separatist groups in Alberta.
Yes. Once again, independence. But I would like to I would like to congratulate them for the fantastic job they're doing of trying to educate Albertans of what it would look like if we did become independent. And I've been to 44 events with these people now all over this province, and I'm going to continue as a permanent volunteer with them. And what I'm finding is the people that are dead set against it, they really only have an emotional attachment to Canada. And I was once a very proud Canadian, by the way. But they won't even come and listen to the truth. And it's got to be the truth, because I've heard our CEO, Mitch Sylvester, tell multiple crowds, if I was lying to you, the mainstream media would be all over us. And they're not, because anybody can check out every bit of information that they are giving in our educational sessions. The information is available to everybody, but people are scared to listen.
Let me ask you this. We were really tight on time.
Sure.
Is your group going to get to the level where it's going to be able to put a referendum to the people?
Absolutely.
Is the premier going to let it get that far?
I don't know. I've been
because all of this is under review right now, right? It's in court?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But did you notice that Thomas Lukasik isn't?
Oh, yes. I'm quite aware of that. Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah, well, here, you can have a
And for people who don't know, that's the I want to stay part of Canada referendum question, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And I have asked multiple people in those at those tables where the petition is, what is your rationale? And they will not respond. They just say, we're not here to debate anything. I'm going, I don't want to debate anything. I just want to know what your rationale is.
Okay. Gotcha. Got to run. Wait. Thank you. Bye-bye. Best of luck. I've been watching it with great interest. Be right back. Final few calls on Talkback for the week on News Radio.
Have something on your mind you want everyone to know?
Call now.
Hello.
1-833-668-2577.
It's Talkback on Now You Know with Rob Snow.
Let's get to Dennis in Kitchener today. Hi, Dennis.
Hi. I've been in and out of the car, so I haven't heard everything, but hopefully I have a couple of new thoughts to add to your program.
By all means.
And related to the Charlie Kirk issue, and it's the Charlie Kirk issue that we're talking about, not Kimmel or anybody else. First of all, the fact is that, like Colbert, Kimmel's ratings were tanking, and it's probably just a convenient way of getting rid of the guy. And as you know, if your ratings start to tank, or Mike Farwell in Kitchener, you're not going to be around very long. So that's an important factor in this. If no one else raised it, I'm glad I did now. Second point, though, is that this is a major operation, as you know, a radio show, and I'm sure Kimmel has way more people than you do.
I suspect so.
Production staff and the like, and he has friends and associates. And it's evident to me that he's living in a bubble world of like-mindedness. He's got a bunch of yes people.
Yeah,
anyone
he's in an echo
production
chamber.
Staff would say, hey, wait a second, Jimmy, you might want to apologize. And to me, that's a microcosm of the bigger picture. The left is in their bubble, the right. A few callers ago, the guy mentioned about how we got to start talking. And by the way, that's what Charlie Kirk was trying to do. So, and the last point I would make is that I learned, well, first of all, just on that point, I remember years ago learning, 50 years ago, from Peter Drucker, who's a management guru, and he quotes Alfred Sloan as saying, I suggest, now that we've reached consensus on the matter, I suggest that we reconvene so that we can get some dissension so that we can understand what the decision's all about. And we need more of that. Anyway, the last point, was, rights, and by the way, freedom of speech is freedom from government, not your employer or anybody else. But rights, I learned many years ago, come with responsibilities and consequences. And I think what we're going on, and Kimmel is only minor. I mean, all kinds of people are getting fired right now. And we moved from cancel culture, which was canceling speech and canceling people you didn't want to hear, to consequence culture. And that's what's going on right now. And I think people got to start thinking before they speak, and they have to start welcoming alternative views and working through those. And I think when we get that, we're going to solve a lot of these problems that are going on unsolved.
Fingers crossed, sir. And a nice way to end the program this week. Thank you. Well worth the wait to hear from you today, Dennis. And that's it. That's all the time we have. Let me just say this, though. Curtis, our producer, told me today when he was posting the podcast this week for one of our shows, Now You Know with Rob Snow, that it was the 400th episode, of this version of the show that launched, I think, almost 2 years ago now, I believe. I remember after the first week, I didn't think this show would last. I thought after the first week, I'd be lucky to make it through week number 2. So to hit 400 episodes, a really nice milestone, not possible without you listening and participating every day. And I thank each and every one of you for doing that. The news next.
Imagine if today was the day your idea changed someone's life. Imagine if you could help someone pay for college, help your community build a new playground, or help a child make it to that dream competition. With GoFundMe, it's all possible. GoFundMe is the world's #1 fundraising platform trusted by over 190 million people. Every week, ordinary people meet their goals and do extraordinary things. Your ideas matter. GoFundMe isn't just for emergencies. Want to raise money for your kid's soccer team or raise funds for a small business, a creative project, or event? GoFundMe helps you turn ideas into reality. And help adds up. Fundraisers you start for someone else raise up to 5 times more. So think right now, who could use your help? Change rarely comes from waiting. It comes from someone deciding, today I'll start. Don't wait for someone else to bring change. Today, start your fundraiser in just minutes at GoFundMe.com. That's GoFundMe.com to start your fundraiser. GoFundMe.com. This is a commercial message brought to you by GoFundMe.